How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about the things you should consider before you summon on Qingyi. And of course, as time has gone by, we've seen a lot of showcases get posted when it comes to the early access footage. I have also made my own video talking about Qingyi and also breaking down her kit, showcasing her off so that you get the full gist of how she works and how she plays. I do think overall Qingyi's in a really great spot to be a nice character, but before we get into all that, I do want to talk about all the other characters around her before we get into her. So before we get into all that, make sure you have a like, comment, sub, all the different type of stuff, and let me know how excited you are for Qingyi or maybe any of the other characters coming out. So of course, talking about our character that we have at the current moment is going to be Zhu Yuan. And Zhu Yuan right now, in my honest opinion, she's by far one of the best DPSs in the game. I think right now she does trump over Ellen for the mere fact that she has a lot of boost available to her, and the teammates that she can use by herself or the teammates that she's best synergized with bring some crazy boost onto the team. You have someone like Nicole who's dropping defense, who's able to give ether damage bonus and is also able to do a team damage bonus as well, not only from disc drives but also her signature weapon. Also looking at someone like Qingyi coming out, Qingyi is able to give a nasty amount of boost when it comes to a stun multiplier. Guess who else has a stun multiplier? Zhu Yuan does. That means they get to add that on top of each other and do a massive amounts of damage, and Zhu Yuan is just doing overall mass when it comes to them being stunned or them being dazed. You're seeing chunks of their health bar leave at a time as the bullets are coming out, and if you know how to be resourceful with the bullets, with refilling them at the right time, using your skill, using your ultimate at the right time, yeah, you're probably going to KO the enemy before they even get a chance to come back up. Of course, Ellen was an amazing character and it still is one of the best for sure, but I do think Zhu Yuan at the current moment, with how she's able to be very flexible when it comes to being able to dodge in the middle of her strings, making it so that you almost never have to stop doing DPS, her being able to incentivize so much damage onto the stunned enemy with her giving herself multipliers, with giving herself 30% crit rate, which I think is absolutely absurd. Being able to benefit from having someone like Nicole or someone like Qingyi on the team, yeah, this character is going to be absolutely busted for a very long time. And especially because if I'm not wrong, ether damage isn't resistant to any enemy either. So there's a lot of really cool stuff coming from Zhu Yuan, and she's an overall really great DPS. Definitely someone I would pull for if you don't have a premium DPS already, because as we all know, DPSs are definitely where the fun comes in the game. So if you have one premium character, maybe you can go ahead and skip, but if you don't have a premium DPS already, then Zhu Yuan is definitely worth the investment to get, because she is just so fun and so strong, especially since they buffed her viability in Hollow Zero as well, with having the ether damage. Rizonia makes a really good thing for Zhu Yuan to be able to be useful in every single mode in the game. Now looking towards our next character, which is going to be Qingyi. Qingyi, as I said before, and also how I have done the showcase, which if you haven't watched it, go watch it. I show everything in regards to how she works and how she was showcased and all those different modes. But overall, my impressions of Qingyi, yeah, she's a character everyone, I don't want to say needs, but she's definitely a character that everyone is going to enjoy having, just because she's super strong. She never has to stop doing her job. She always can daze. She always can stay in the state where she's doing an attack motion. You don't have to do a bunch of hits before you start getting your daze portions out. You do 2 hits and you stay in that state permanently until you manually end it. And she has dodges built into her kit, similar to Zhu Yuan. So you're always non-stop doing daze buildup with anomaly buildup. And with having Zhu Yuan on the team as well, you're doing some nasty damage with being able to not have to worry about dodging attacks, because they're built into your kit. So you don't have to worry about losing DPS or losing stun because now you have to worry about dodging. No, it's built into her state, same way Zhu Yuan has her weaves in during her animations of her attacking. Right now, Qingyi is able to do some crazy stuff, and one of the craziest things that she's able to provide is that she actually gives around 50 to 60% extra stun damage multiplier on top of what's available with the stun itself. So you get at 150 and you can go up to like 210, 220 or something like that, with Qingyi being a massive DPS increase on top of someone like Zhu Yuan or any other character in the game that is able to increase the stun multiplier. Yeah, that's absolutely nasty. That's a crazy thing to be given, especially with how fast she dazed. She's a super strong character. Now, the one thing that a lot of people need to understand as well is that for her core passive or her team passive, where she's able to give herself more days and able to convert some of the impact that she has into attack, guess what she needs to be able to activate that? Any attack type unit or anyone that's a part of the same faction. So this means anybody that's part of the PubSec team, so that means something like Zhu Yuan, something like Qingyi herself, or something like Seth, these characters are able to proc that passive. But with that second portion where it says attack type characters can activate this as well, that means Qingyi can be used on literally any team that you want. When it comes to being Ellen, when it comes to being Zhu Yuan, when it comes to any other attack type character that may come out for the rest of the time playing this game, she will work with them and give herself more days because of so. That is such a big thing, because if it would have been lightning or faction, then that lowers the amount of teams you have by quite a bit, because now you're stuck to the lightning team, and then you're also stuck to the PubSec faction, which we don't know when we'll get more members of. So the fact that she's able, just like Zhu Yuan, how Zhu Yuan's able to do support only, then she's able to get her boost. Now Qingyi has attack only, and you're able to get that boost. And you're always going to have an attack type character on your team, unless you're rocking, which I'm experimenting with, double anomaly characters with a support character, which we may see some cool stuff about that later on. So stay tuned for that if that sounds exciting to you. But for the most part, you will always most likely have an attack type character on the team. So that means someone like Qingyi is always able to provide that extra days bonus towards herself, and also towards the attack bonus she gets as well from her impact. So overall, really good stuff for Qingyi. I think overall she's just a really strong character when it comes to stunning enemies. She's a really strong character when it comes to giving us that stun damage multiplier, which is such a valuable stat to get. And then not only that, she just has a lot of potential and a lot of investment when it comes to her being able to be used with any DPS. This means she can be used for a very, very long time, and it's going to be that one character that we'll see being used for a long time until we get a crazy stunner is able to do way more things. But with what Qingyi has and how smooth she feels, how great she feels with all the AoE that she has in her kit, yeah, it's gonna take quite a bit of time before someone like Qingyi is replaced. So if you're looking to get Qingyi because you need a stunner, because you only have Ambi, 100% worth it, 1000% worth it. Now if you're in the situation where you have someone like Lycan, or you have someone like Nicole, or not Nicole, but someone like Lycan, or someone like Koleda, and you have Ambi, then you kind of don't need her. And when I mean need, you don't need that third stunner. If you like Ambi, if you love Ambi, you've built Ambi, you want to keep playing Ambi, then stay with Ambi. So you have one stunner for one team that you'll potentially need. Your second team is probably going to use Lycan or Koleda if you have any of these two characters. Now, if you have Koleda and Lycan, I would say 100% to skip Qingyi. Even though Qingyi is a really strong character in the same vein as healers are in a lot of different games, once you get 2 premium healers, you probably don't need to ever summon on a healer again. And that's the truth when it comes to how these characters work. Once you fill out a role, a certain amount of characters, you don't really need more. I think DPSs is that one role where you can keep summoning, get a new taste of flavor every month, and that's a really good thing. But a stunner is going to do what a stunner can do. Unless they start making stunners that do absolutely massive damage on top of stunning, or able to give more supportive abilities on top of stunning, we're not going to see a reason to be able to summon for more than one stunner if you already have someone like Lycan, if you already have someone like Koleda, or you just really like Ambi. So there's a lot of different factors coming in and out of what we're going to be seeing in regards to if you want to summon for Qingyi. But she's still overall really great character, and a very strong one at that. Now lastly, looking at the last few characters coming out for version 1.1, we of course have to take into consideration the fan favorite of the patch for as much as I've seen, Jane Doe and Seth. Now these two characters are going to be dropping on the same exact banner, and with that being said, Jane Doe definitely looks very interesting, specifically because she is going to be physical anomaly as a character. And with that being said, she is going to be very interesting to me when it comes to how she's going to play and what team she's going to be on realistically, because I feel like we're going to get to a point where there might be some teams with certain DPSs that have an anomaly with them might be the best thing versus someone like a stunner. Although we have characters like Qingyi and like Lycan who are able to give that stun damage multiplier, which helps us out with a lot of the damage. I think being able to proc Disorder, being able to proc these assaults are some very strong things to have, and may play into the favor of maybe having higher DPS than if waiting for someone to get stunned. So I do think Jane Doe might have a lot of practicality being used in a lot of different teams, but we have to wait until we get to showcase her off or we know more about her details. But overall, Jane Doe does look really good. I think her being physical anomaly being by far one of the better reactions in the game, just due to how strong it hits for. I think that's gonna be very exciting. I think for the most part that's gonna be really cool to see. And then of course Seth is gonna be dropping on the same banner as well. So if you want 2 new characters that you might want to save for the second half, I do think Jane Doe is a little bit more interesting than Qingyi. Qingyi is a little cut and dry, very sweet and simple when it comes to understanding how she works, with just giving that stun damage multiplier, give it a crazy amount of days, which she's very valuable for. But for Jane Doe, she could have a lot of different uses when it comes to maybe even having a full anomaly team versus something like maybe she gets plopped in instead of a stunner, you put in an anomaly character. So you have attack, support, and an anomaly character, and now you're proccing disorders, proccing these reactions. You're getting a lot of damage off with these characters. So right now there's just a lot of different characters in this game that are going to be very valuable, and also a lot of characters that we have to look forward to, because we have zero idea what's going to happen as soon as we hit 1.2. We will be getting drip marketing after the next character comes out. So when Jane Doe is about to come out, we will get the drip marketing for looking at what we're gonna have in the next patch. We might see Miyabi, we might not. We might see different characters for different factions buffing up certain teams, which that's a really cool thing. The faction based system is going to be a very big part of the game, and it's going to allow us to buff characters out as teams come by or as characters come by. That's just a really cool thing. So sadly, with part 1 of the patch never having access to something like the stream, something like the actual drip marketing coming out, Qingyi is in a really rough spot. But I do think she's overall a really strong character, and a character a lot of people are going to love to have on their account. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching on today's video. See y'all guys in the next one, and peace.